For the last year here, I had been going in with the military here in the creeks and documenting what I believe is lies, deceit, and corruption. I took French media down yesterday, 2 miles south of the derailment, and you just poke your shovel and the dry dirt and chemicals just come out. And I was on NPR a couple weeks ago with Alan Shaw and also the head of the Ohio EPA, stating that they can find no evidence of chemicals in our land. I could send a 7-year-old with a stick in the creeks and they could find that. So I don't know how the EPA isn't finding it. I also, I guess you met with some of the O'Connell family. Yeah, so early on I tested that family. They came up with benzene and vinyl chloride metabolites in their bodies. The CDC was discouraging doctors from testing any people here, despite it being one of the, if not the worst chemical disaster from a train derailment in United States history. So I defied those guidelines and tested people, and there was a high ratio of people coming up positive. And when they would come up with benzene, EPA would say maybe they pumped gas that day, got gas on their arms or whatever. They came up with thiodiglycolic acid, which is a metabolite for when you ingest or inhale or get vinyl chloride on your skin, breaks down into that substance. They would say, well, that can also happen if they cut up a bunch of onions or they took high doses of vitamin B, which in the survey none of them did. The Asian children in a petrol plant, in an elementary school next to petrol plants, that metabolite was used as a criteria for moving those children away from that county in Asia to a whole nother petrol plant, a whole nother elementary school, not another petrol plant. So if that test was good enough for children in Asia, why wasn't it good enough for people in East Palestine, Ohio, in the United States of America? I've been appalled by what's happened here. I'm not a politician. As of 11 weeks ago, I guess I became one, and I'm going to win this, and Ohio's going to win this. And here's the thing, and probably like you, when people would come say, hey, there's creek water coming up into my basement, I didn't say, you black, you white, you Democrat, you Republican. No, I went. And this is not about me. I'm just angry about what happened here and how everyone has been shut up. And I mean, I know you can't do this, but I could take you to the creek now in one single shovelful. I can show you how the chemicals come out of the land in the park where the children play. It is disgusting what has happened here. So that's part of what I wanted to say.
Well, thank you for everything that you're doing. And I think we need people like you in political office who are going to actually unravel corporate capture and hold these agencies accountable, because this tragedy happened because of the corruption, because of government failure, and government enabling these corporations. First, enabling Norfolk Southern to get away with all the cost cutting of safety inspectors, safety devices, and safety protocols, because it captured the DOT, and then EPA coming in and gaslighting everybody in this town to pretend that there's no problem, to try to normalize contamination and lie to them and commit fraud against them and do this fixed testing systems that are designed to find no problems, and then just lie to people's faces. And we need to put an end to that. So thank you.
Can I say 2 more things? Mr. Kennedy, I know you're on a tight schedule, but if I took a bottle of water like that and I put deadly toxic chemicals that were heavier than water on the bottom of that bottle, and there was clean water on the top, and I left it on the table and I said, take a straw, don't even move that bottle, just drink out of the top of the water, nobody would do that. When they take a dip test on the creek flowing, you can get clean water. If I walk through that creek and the chemicals come up, that's a whole other thing. And lastly, I want to say, the Ohio EPA bragged so much that they were Johnny on the spot 2 hours here after the accident. If that is the case, why in their initial report said they observed Norfolk Southern laying down track over contaminated liquid and soil, and they laid those tracks over that soil. So I believe that it was probably an accident, okay? But it's what you do after you assess the accident. All the hundreds of thousands of gallons of chemicals, vinyl chloride, butyl acrylate, ethylene glycol that was spilled on our creeks and our land. I believe that the EPA is complicit in this as Norfolk Southern. that's the entity that was supposed to protect the people of this town, and they allowed them to do that and run those trains right over that soil for months and pound these chemicals further into our ground. So that's pretty much all I have to say.
Well, thank you very much.
Right.
And for standing up for the people.
Thank you, and thank you for meeting with me.